Welcome to the Curiosity Connection podcast. I'm your host, Na. Today's guest is from Sydney, Australia, father and son combo, Chung and Isaac. Thank you for joining me. In continuation of the FIFA 2026 in North America, I'm exploring parts of the world to experience cultural perspective of football culture, and Australia is this week. And Chung was sharing before we got cut off how football culture was a part of his fabric of life, and you were saying that your dad was a goalkeeper. You were born in China, and that he shared that love of football with you with all these big tournaments like FIFA, and that just kind of transitioned when you became a dad yourself with Isaac and your other son.
I mean, I don't have much, memories of, when I was 5 or 4 and, living in China at that current stage, but I still remember we had black and white TV and majority of times when we watch the TVs is always soccer related. So kind of grew up watching it. And I
Okay, black
think
and white TV. We're dating ourselves here. Are you a Gen Xer? What are you?
uh, I think it was black and white, and then I think we just had an old TV where I think when we're back home in China
What
because I
year are
really
we talking about here? No short.
on 1982, 1982.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah. So
oh.
pre prehistory days. Yeah, old. Showing my age.
Pre-dial, pre-dial-up days. So
Yeah,
let me go skip it.
there was no internet back then anyway, so
No,
it
there
the
wasn't.
world has definitely evolved during that period, but yeah, and I mean, sort of that kind of brings the excitement, right? Because I think in the olden days, obviously in China, I still remember I was the only child. My folks will go to work, they'll come home, and then when they have time, you just watch the game. That kind of what brings the families together at this early age. And I think moving to Australia, it opens up a lot of opportunities and obviously the dynamics was a lot more different. All right. When you live in a sort of Western society, I don't have a lot of memories back home, but I still remember my dad still had his goalkeeper jerseys that he played, and it's just some memories that stuck. And I think the other aspect is obviously every 4 years the World Cup, right? So, everything's televised back then, but now in Australia, a lot of these games you got to pay subscription for. Back in the olden days, everything's televised. In the poor countries, people
Yes, I know.
still.
It's because everybody canceled cable and got got to streaming platform.
I know you got to pay to watch everything now. I still got to figure out how we can sort of watch all the games. I'm sure there will be a couple of games that's national televised, but there will be a few games that's going to be streaming on a cable subscription.
Or just do what
Um,
people do, which is they subscribe to the app for that whole tournament period, and then because you know how you have like a 1.5 month trial. Yes, we're promoting free access. Okay, so people do that with HBO. People do that with all the things because it's expensive in this day in
it is.
economy to afford much, and if they can save money with a corrupt corporation, what this is not my word. This is all the interviews I've had. Everybody's opinion on FIFA is they can afford it. So if people are going to get access this way, who am I to judge, right?
Exactly, exactly. I
They're
mean,
retaining an audience, a loyal audience. They'll find a way to watch it, right?
yeah, we're advising the community, how to watch football in a sort of cheap way and it's meaningful in that sense.
I'm sorry, Isaac. We don't mean to corrupt you, but back in the days when we couldn't afford music, we did whatever way we could to get access to music. And this is just your generation's version of accessing televised football. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I've only got the Stan subscription. Was is in our we have Stan Sports, so English Premier League at the moment, and also the Champions League is on Stan Sports. So they have the basic subscription, which gives you access to the TVs and the movies. But if you want to watch the sport package, you got to add an additional
Yes.
on top.
It's the same here. We have TSN and we have Sports Network. When you got to Australia, did your parents end up having more siblings or were you still an only child?
I never had the opportunity to play Monopoly when I was growing up because I was always by myself. I mean, I can't really say what it's like to have siblings because I just didn't know, you know.
Yeah. At what age in Australia did you decide to commit to football?
I mainly just played at school and watch football, and then I never really played in a representative sense. That's more Julie. I followed her. I watched her. I think during sort of the early high school stages, Manchester United and Arsenal was the hype, right? It's so like
Or
from a global
Liverpool too.
scale,
And
yeah,
Liverpool.
And Liverpool. They were the global scale teams that all the kids watch. And then I think back then, the only way to sort of follow it is you just have these football magazines, and kids just bring these full magazines. You read about the players, and everyone talks about Eric Cantona because he was such a enigma in terms of the way he presented himself, the way he played. So he will make the tabloids for great goal, but also make the tabloids for just kicking a fan, right? His popularity sort of grew, and then everyone just loved to follow that particular team. So Manchester United was the team that a lot of Australians follow at that time.
That's how you landed on Manchester United?
Yeah. And then obviously, the culture change, and then you have the Spice Girl with, David Beckham.
Isaac watched the documentary because you're a big Beckham fan?
I'm not I do like David Beckham. I love his crossing. What do you like about David Beckham?
Yeah, what do you like about it?
Free kicks,
What position does Beckham play?
right mid,
What position do you play, Isaac?
a mid
You're
as
mid?
well.
Did you choose that position, or was that something the coach thought that you were better skilled at?
The coach choose.
Yeah? Was there a position you had in mind before when you joined the team that you wanted to be in?
No, I just wanted
No?
to play.
Yeah, what is it about the football culture that you like about playing on the team?
Uh, I just like score goals.
Yeah. Do you like the team camaraderie or the coach, or do you like your parents coming out and watching you and cheering you on?
Yeah.
Does that add to the experience?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. At what age did you start playing?
5.
Yeah. The story was he started playing because Julie started to play, and we were in the local club. We thought, football could be a good, healthy relationship for sort of social interaction, and also just to sort of be out there. And I think soccer in general is the biggest sports for kids in Australia
Yeah.
by
Oh, wow.
far. Like women, girls, and boys. It's the biggest sports to play. And so obviously, when the boys started, Julie joined the local team so that they could be all together, so that there was no fear. Everyone's like, we're all playing for the same local team.
It's a good there's different ways to support your kid, but I like that she's participating and knowing the skills, but also the language so she can talk to her children, or in this case, Isaac. Do you like that your mom plays soccer too? Or football also?
Right.
Oh, okay. I think she's pretty good.
But the team done lost.
What position does Mummy play?
Same position as me.
Right midfielder?
Yeah.
She chose that position specifically also?
Oh no, the coach chose.
Does Julie play also? Like, is there like a mom's group, or is this like her own league for Julie?
She plays in the local league, and she's in the Div 1 team. So I think it's still quite competitive.
Mhm.
And so sort of she told me all about how ferocious, the competition can be as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then she goes to training, and then one game a week. So I think it sort of grew. And I think the boys watch her instead of me, because I think if I started playing as well at the same time, we'll probably just don't have any weekends anymore.
I feel your pain. I mean, I only have one, but I feel your pain. I think it's nice to see that my parents can do the same thing that I am doing. Do you think that's cool, Isaac?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, but she's still coming third last. So
Third last. Who's second then? Who's first?
I really don't know. I just know what who's third last.
third last.
Okay, before we got cut off, the jersey you were wearing, Isaac, is
Beckham?
Beckham because of the Beckham documentary, right? And the jersey your dad's wearing is Argentina because his dad was a goalkeeper. He's a big fan of Argentina. So who is your go-to player, Chung, for Manchester United?
Yeah, I mean, I follow sort of Eric Cantona, and Man United was always a top team. And I think that Champions League game where Solskjaer scored the winning goal, I think that really transpired across different sort of fans across the globe. And he just elevated that club to that sort of culture following. And I think, when after that initial period, after the Beckham saga, they were always been in the Champions League and etc. I think one of the big young players that came to Man United was Cristiano. I still remember his first game. He was a sub for Bolton. He came on, he did all these tricks and won a penalty, and then they ended up winning the game.
What was the position he was playing?
He was playing on the wing. In the early stages, he was fast and he had all the skills. He was playing on the wing, and then that sort of alluded to obviously, yeah, the way they play, the flair, and etc. It really sort of wanted a lot of the audience to follow and just watch.
So you were not like a Ryan Giggs fan or a Roy Keane's fan?
I like Ryan Gigg, but obviously when Cristiano Ronaldo came, you wanted to follow the young sort of.
So you were committed to Ronaldo at the infant, like
Yeah.
when he first started. Now he's like this
When he
big
was
name.
17. Yeah, when he had all pimples and the goldie curls back then, when he was, I think it was 17 when he first joined. And
Where was he coming?
he was from Sporting Lisbon. I think the whole story was Man United played a trial game against Sporting. And during that game, he performed really well, and there was always sort of they were already tracking him as a potential player, as a prospect. I think after that trial game, he just sort of accelerated, and they had to sign because of all the various interests that was going around.
How long did he stay with United before
Oh,
he?
went to Real Madrid. I can't remember how long, but it was probably I would say 7 years.
Isaac, what's your go-to team? Do you support Manchester United like your dad, or do you have your own team that you prefer?
I like Chelsea
Why?
because they have Cole Palmer as well. They have Cole Palmer.
He's what position? He's also a midfielder, a right midfielder,
Just the mid, like a
just a
center.
mid. But what was it about him that drew you to Chelsea? You must have watched many games with your dad that you're like, that's the player, that's the team I want to go with.
The celebration,
The celebration, in what ways?
it's like this.
His name is Cole, so obviously celebration is like ice cold. It's like up easy.
For you, his
I
style.
very calm. I think he was a Manchester City prospect, and then when he moved to Chelsea, I think in the first season, I think he, as a midfielder, scored 20 something goals and had over like 11 or 10 above 10 assists. I think he just sort of arrived, and plus his goal celebration, I think.
That
I mean,
fielder.
it doesn't matter if the play is great or not. It's just if the goal celebration is good.
At what age were you watching this guy, Cole, doing this dance that you're like, "This is my team and this is my player"? How old were you?
When he scored against Spain in I think it was in the Euro.
The European Championships, I think that was 2 years ago. Spain went up against England in the European finals. And then I think Cole Palmer subbed on and Cole Palmer scored a goal.
What I'm hearing is that recently you've switched from Manchester United to Chelsea, is that correct?
No, I was never Man United.
How you can support any team, you just watch football with your dad, and it wasn't until last year's game, the Euro final, that you're like, "I've found my team, dad."
I used to do Arsenal, but then I'm now Chelsea.
So when you first started up your football exploration, you were a big Arsenal fan?
Yeah, but then Chelsea.
Why Arsenal?
I don't know.
That's the rumor I heard because I had interviews with you guys who are a big Arsenal fan, and it's been like 20 years that they're gonna make it to the
Yeah.
UNL final.
Yeah, that was I mean, they still have a chance to win the English Premier League this year as well, right? So I think Arsenal is a kind of a funny team where they always start well. The last couple of years, they always perform well in the first half of the season, and then somehow towards the end, they end up choking. So fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes this year and make sure, it comes true for them.
Whatever. It's just entertainment. What about Mama? Does Mama have a Premier League team that she supports?
Chelsea.
She's a big Chelsea fan too because of you, or was she already a Chelsea fan?
Because when we went to our holidays, we went to England and then we watched Chelsea.
We went back to England. Obviously, I met her there, 2011 to
You were in
2011.
my sister's crew?
Yeah, Julie was Han's roommate, right? That's how we sort of all met at that particular time. Then when we came back to Australia, I think 2012, we've never been back, right? After 12 years, we're like, yeah, we should go back to Europe and visit Europe and just to see how things are. I mean, back then you used to always just go to the pub and watch football and like everyone talks about it. Every street corner is huge over there, right? Because
Yeah,
you
but
know,
when you were over there, like, did you and Julie watch any of the team games, like in London?
yeah, I mean, I watched plenty of games. My roommate at the time was a Fulham season ticket holder. So we drove up to Manchester United. We watched a Fulham Man United game. I got tickets to watch Arsenal versus Man United at the Emirates as well. I mean, every few weeks we were just watching games, and you can buy tickets relatively cheap and then accessible, right? Then during the finals and a lot of the cup games, you can go to Wembley as well. So I mean, the cultures that it's surrounded and passion of the people for football is very large over there compared to over here in Australia.
What I was hearing in your earlier stories when the magazine of these football league clubs were being circulated, and it was just like especially the paparazzi stuff. You couldn't ignore the paparazzi stuff, but it was in your face. And then having that experience to live in London, was it in London that you lived?
Yes, London. Yes, I was there 2 years.
Before you got to London, you already committed to Manchester United?
Yes, Manchester United. Yes.
So by the time you get there, you finally are living like this stadium experience with away games and also like other teams with your friends live version. How does that feel? Like, So
Well, it's funny. I'll tell you a story. My roommate at the time, he was a Fulham ticket holder. So there was a game where Fulham was the away team, and they had to play at Old Trafford, which is for Manchester United. So Manchester United was around like I think 2 or 3 hours drive from London. So we hired a car. We all went up. I wore my Manchester United jersey in the car. I was so excited because that was my first time going to Old Trafford.
yeah.
And I think on the way there was a car accident. So
Wow.
the trip there took longer than expected. So I think by the time I got there, it was already kickoff. And obviously, being a fan, I was so excited. He just said, "Oh, just get off and run in," because obviously I had the tickets.
Jersey.
So I had the Man United jersey, and I'm running in, and then I'm trying to get up to my seat, and then this security guard goes, "Hey, mate, where do you think you're going?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to the game." And he goes, "Oh, not with that kit, you're not." Because the ticket that I had was sitting with the away fans, which means the ticket I had was sitting with the Fulham fans. I cannot just go up and wear a Manchester United jersey and sit with the away fans because it's a huge, in Europe, they're separated.
Yeah. I didn't know this until you're adding to the story that I interviewed on Friday.
Yeah.
The guest was a Liverpool fan, and he was saying at away game, there's an away section for the like small section, and I was like, "What?" Because we don't have that here in Toronto, right, or in Canada. Because like when I watched like Canada versus Tunisia, it's whatever open seat ticket you buy. It isn't relegated to that one section. So you're you're having the season ticket holder of Fuller, but you're wearing Manchester United. They won't let you in because you're wearing that kit.
Yeah, lucky I actually had a jacket. So I pretty much it was a hot day at that time, and I watched the whole game with the jacket. I couldn't take it off. It was an experience. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't change it
And it's
for
a good story to talk to that. Now
yeah.
you go back and you take your son
That's right.
and your wife. Your wife saw a game when she was there too, right? when she was living in London, she saw one of the Premier League.
Yeah, she watched games as well, and she played in London recreationally as well. Like she played futsal, and she played within sort of the team sports, more of the community sports. I think there as well. I mean, they're definitely great there.
Yes. Now, like 12 years later, you take your whole family back to the UK, and it's the
Yeah.
first time for Isaac to experience a stadium game. And who is playing Isaac?
We went to 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
United versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
It was a draw, and I think it was Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, but I don't know who won it.
Yeah. But
On the draw too.
That was a draw too.
1-1.
the first one with Manchester United, how did you feel like finally sitting in a live stadium with a really rowdy crowd?
We were sitting with Crystal Palace people. We were away, not
Mm.
because it was too far away to go to Manchester.
Yeah.
But
Because Crystal Palace is in London. It's South London. I think I think when we are planning to see what games, we were also looking at the economics because Arsenal tickets are really expensive. Everyone, it's
because they
just
were the team or what?
well, Arsenal have been doing really well the last couple of years, right? Yeah, so there's a big following, especially in the middle of London, where sort of the Highbury area in London, that's where they're based. So their stadium is quite expensive. We were looking at games, and then I think we had a few options of going up to Tottenham or Arsenal, but then we just talked about it. And he's like, let's watch the Man United game. At that time, during the 2 weeks that we're there was a Crystal Palace versus Man United, but we had to travel to Crystal Palace. I think the stadium was very old. It's very different. And it was hard to watch because there was like a beam in the stadium that right in the middle, sitting on top of the nosebleed, we had to kind of duck just to watch the game. Like the visibility wasn't too great.
Yeah.
But the Chelsea stadium was great. We had a family section.
Oh.
Yeah, Chelsea's really good. Yeah, they had a
Game, Isaac?
We didn't go to Arsenal.
Chelsea versus.
Nottingham Forest.
And how was that experience for you, the second stadium, Isaac?
Because since we were very close to the field, I could see the players like in real life, not
Oh,
not
wow.
or on television.
It makes a big
We
difference,
were,
the seating.
yeah, we were literally 10 rows from the front. I didn't know when I was purchasing the tickets, you had to buy from resellers, but Chelsea, they offered like 2 adults and two kids. And I had no idea where we were sitting. But when we went in, I realized they had one little section on where the corner post is. They leave that for a family section. It was great, it wasn't crowded as much, and then you get to see everything. It was great seats.
Yeah. But, like, throughout the whole journey through, like, the football culture, did you ever lose interest or you put a pause on it? Obviously, like, adulting and life got in the way. Did that ever take a backseat compared to when you were, like, before kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good question because I followed it religiously when Wayne Rooney and obviously Cristiano Ronaldo was all part of the Man United and we were winning. I still remember the Champions League final against Russia. I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. I watched it with a couple of mates at the casino, and we celebrated when Manchester United won. But as get older, you kind of lose a little bit of that passion because obviously life just gets in the way at times. They've been playing the game, and Julie plays a game. We slowly start to sort of come back, and I think the last World Cup was, it was a big showing, like, because all the games here was early in the mornings. It's like 5, 4, 5. But with Isaac, for some reason, you didn't have to wake him up. He will just wake up and be like, I was born to watch this. I was born to watch the World Cup. Right. He'll just wake up, be like, oh, Dad, let's go watch the
You're
World Cup.
on the same wavelength as the FIFA
Yeah.
tournament.
And I think the most memorable was we watched the World Cup finals. Who was in the World Cup finals last World Cup?
The one at
Argentina.
Qatar?
Right?
Argentina? Yeah.
Argentina won against France in penalties.
Who would you like to win this year's FIFA, Isaac?
Well, I think Spain is favorites.
Yeah.
And but I also want like Portugal maybe to win.
Yeah.
Because it's like Ronaldo's last year.
Ah. But why
But
Spain? Why do you think Spain's gonna win?
because Spain won the Euros and they have like a young team.
Mm. You think Spain's gonna win, but you would like Portugal to win because of
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And they got like good midfielders and some good defenders.
Do you think you'll ever switch position as you get older and you continue to play football? Or do you think you'll always stay as a midfielder?
Maybe I'll change, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess stay tuned. I'll check in a few years to see what position you play. Check with your mom to see if you change position. You have another sibling?
Oh yeah.
Does he play football also, Isaac?
Mhm.
Yeah? What's the age difference between you and your younger brother?
Oh, I'm 10, he's 8, so like a 2-year difference.
Yeah.
His birthday's in November and mine is in January.
What position does your younger brother play?
Well, I think he sometimes plays winger.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think he usually plays winger and sometimes he plays mid, like because like there's no one else to play.
Mm. When you go watch his game, do you support him or are you guys in the same league?
Yeah, we're in the same league
Yeah.
and we're on like 2 fields. So I'm on like the
Yeah.
right side of the field and he's on the left.
Ah, and then sometimes do you guys ever like walk away, both of you winning, and you give each other high fives, or do you support him, or he supports you when one of you doesn't do well or the team lost? Do you guys cheer each other on?
Not really.
everyone focuses. Everyone focuses on their own team. It is quite separated because of like obviously the coachings for nuns and some. So I think the pathway, obviously, the way it's set up in Australia is we've got like the A League, which is kind of the professional league, and then you have the leagues down, which is what we will call like MPO. It's more the Division One kind of team. It's more localized. So you have MPO New South Wales, which is within here, and then you got Queensland and etc. And these club have like younger teams from starting from like 9, 10, 11, 12, and then boys and girls that turn 13 move into youth football. So that's kind of the pathway. You start off playing, I think when they play, it was just a local. It was just a local club. And then you can go when you turn 8 or 9, you can go potentially trial out for a representative, which is what they're part of at the moment. In the early stages, it's really a part of the MPL teams. And then I think if they love it and they still enjoy it at a certain age, then they can move into a youth setup for.
A League like a feeder team to like the professional team?
So A League is our professional league. The MPO is kind of the feeder to the A League. I mean, soccer is probably by far the most played sport for kids between the age of 4 to 9. But I think after that, it just drops off a cliff.
What's the popular sport after that age group then?
I think the last time I checked that it's a huge drop off. I would say around 50% of participants. Maybe, kids find different interests because I think in Australia, we have a wide range of sports you can play when you're growing, so they have the choices and you guys are probably like the biggest was it ice hockey?
I can't confidently answer that, but I can say yes. Like, because I was talking to one of the guests who's from Peru, and he was saying when he came to Canada, he noticed like in Peru, like the European countries, like football is the primary national sport, right? But when you come to Canada, it's like a subculture sport because it's secondary or even tertiary to hockey, basketball, um, like Australia, a variety of sports. So, but now he thinks that it's growing because of the Alphonse Davies has
Yeah,
gone.
Alfonso Davis. Yeah, Isaac watched him. He's like, man, he's so fast. right? But
Mhm.
yeah, he was cheering for Bayern. He was actually cheering for Bayern Munich. Who did I play?
PSG.
PSG. So we were actually cheering for Bayern Munich, hoping that Bayern will make the finals.
But PSG and Arsenal is.
Yeah. So that's a bit unfortunate for Alphonso Davies, but we'll see him in the World Cup.
Chung, who do you think's gonna win this year's FIFA? And who would you like to win?
I think Spain, but by far, obviously they've got a young core group and they just know how to sort of transition the ball. I'm always hopeful England can get a surprise in this World Cup because every World Cup or any sort of big tournaments, all the English people always say, it's coming home, but it never does go home. It's sad, in many ways, you hope they go.
Did Australia ever make it to any of the World Cup?
Yeah, we made it to the quarterfinals of the 2006.
And
That was the most successful World Cup I think, in Germany.
We lost 2-1.
Yeah,
Isaac, were you cheering for Australia then?
I wasn't born.
it was a board. 2006. That predates him 10 years. But he was
Okay.
still cheering. He was still cheering for them in spirits. What?
Yes, you were channeling through your dad someday.
He was channeling through me, 100%.
In that context, when Australia is in the World Cup, do you root behind them even though you are an England fan and Manchester United fan?
100%. I think we'll definitely cheer him on. Australia's got like a few really good young talents. So let's see how they perform. We've got, like a few players playing in the championship in England. So one division down from the EPL. So what are some of the players that's in the championship?
I think
We got Sigatich. We got Toure. We got a really young player in Palmer as one of the captains there. We do have hope. And then hopefully maybe in 6 years' time, and when he's 16, there's potential there as well, right?
it's one of the senior C players coached me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How was that experience for you?
Good, but I didn't know he was then. When I walked out with the players, I remembered him.
Oh, so I'll give you the backstory. So when he was probably 7, 8, we played a bit of futsal, like indoor soccer, just trying to build the skills. And then at the time there was a coach, and that coach was a part of the youth team for Sydney FC, which is our A League team here. And I think last year I got an email because we were part of the Sydney FC email address. It'd be like, if because we're part of the obviously the development circuit, they were able to invite Isaac and Carter to walk out with the players.
Ah,
So they got to experience what it's like to walk out with the players, and then so he saw his coach that was now in the first team
yeah.
of Sydney FC, and that was quite nice. And then he got to play at halftime because they set up little goals at the halftime. So theoretically, he played in a professional stadium.
And you were like a little bit of a small celebrity there. Sound like you were a bit of a small celebrity. And what are your thoughts, Chung, on FIFA as a corporation or just in general?
I see all the news around some of the corruptions back in the days. I think as long as there's a following, they sort of have investments across the board, and then people still get to enjoy the beautiful game. I think that's probably the most important. But obviously, how he's run as a business, I don't really have a huge understanding. All I can see is obviously the news and the information.
On the final question. Throughout this whole football journey, what were some of your highs and low, and how did you connect to yourself and I guess community, or in this case, your family? Because that's what I'm hearing is through your love of football, transitioning from your dad, that bonding, you're transferring that to your own immediate family with both your son and your wife, right?
Yes, I think that's quite crucial, right? Because having a passion, enjoying the sports, and because obviously in life it's all about time, right? Like the time you spend with people and be able to, like, I do understand, they're still relatively young in terms of 8 and 10, but when they get to a certain age, like 13 14, the time will decrease dramatically, right? So,
That's
so
where
now,
I'm at right now. It's just like, when did I get called yo? I'm like, "I'm not yo, I'm your mama. I'm not bro, I'm your mama." Right? It went
I'm not at that stage yet. I'm not at that stage yet. They're still quite.
from mother to, like, mother, mommy, and, like, "Yo, I try to call your dad my dad." I'm like, "Uh-huh, yeah, and can what's my name?" Like, she's I just think it was coming, but I'm like, "Uh-huh, okay." That's where I'm at right
Yeah.
now. I'm navigating
Well, that's
11-year-old going into 100, so that's another story for another time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then it's definitely good to have that bond. And obviously they train 4 times a week. So it's almost like you get to spend more time with them, the drive there and the drive back, you watch them and then they'll play their rep game. And then I think in the summer, hopefully we'll get into indoor soccer as well. So
Yeah.
from a football standpoint, it doesn't stop, but it just means that, you're driving all over the place.
Yeah, your life right
Right.
now is football, right?
You just kind of like them they miss out on so many like friends' birthdays, because their priorities, the commitment is sort of different to a lot of the kids their age. But I don't think it's a bad thing because at the end of the day, the sport itself could teach you so many things about life. Resilience and be able to sort of fight through competition and then just go through there's highs and lows. I mean, like there's so many times I'm like, when sometimes I'll watch them, I'm so frustrated. But sometimes I'm so happy and I'm so proud, right? So it's like an emotional roller coaster because you always want your kids to do well, but you got to understand, at this early age that development is by far the most important aspect. How they develop, how they evolve is the most important, and confidence is by far the most important. I mean, and sometimes you just got to step back and be like, just let them enjoy their journey. Just to ensure that you can support them through the process. And I guess when they turn 13, 14, they will know whether this is something that they wanted to do or they'll just, drop out. And I've got the statistics here. So approximately 30 to 40% of Australian youth drop out of the organized sports by the age of 15.
But it
Almost half.
also but it also shows too, like, even your own life journey as a template that you can still retain an interest and it can take different levels, like, it become a priority at a certain stage of your life, like right now for Isaac and your other son, it is a priority for your family, and that's a choice you and Julie have collaboratively worked together with your kids' interests that, yes, as much as you want them to attend their friend's birthday, but right now, this is what works for you guys, and there's no shame about your choices, you know what I mean? That's the direction you wanna go, and later in life, if, like, based on the stats, if he decides to put a pause on it, you can also let him know that, "Look at dad," like, or, "Look at mom, she picked it up at a later stage in life, and there's no shame in that," you know? Like, you can weave in and out of, like, things that happen in life and still circle back to something that once brought you joy at a later stage. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I think we're still in belief that mom still has hope that she'll make the Australian team. Uh, she's still trying, right? Oh, he said no. I thought we still believed in that. We're still a firm believer.
I'm a Julie supporter all the way. I think she'll make it just
There you go.
What about you, Isaac? What are your thoughts on FIFA? Do you have any thoughts on FIFA?
No, not that.
No?
No.
That's okay. Would you ever like to go attend one of the World Cup games someday?
Yeah, but my parents had to go to Europe to go to someone's wedding, so I can't go.
Yeah, we were thinking about going to the World Cup this year because obviously being in Canada and the USA, and it's a like obviously, the travel is not as bad because we can get to the West Coast in a single flight. We just have one of our friends' weddings to attend in the middle of June, like so during the group stages, and then yeah, we'll probably just have to wait till the next World Cup. And,
Yeah,
and
the World Cup isn't going anywhere. Every 4 years, you have plenty of opportunity, and whether you share with your parents and your brother, stay tuned is all I say. And then you can tell your mom to text me and say, "Yeah, I finally made it to the World Cup game." Cool?
yeah,
That deal? Thank you, sir.
yep,
High five.
yeah.
punch. I don't know what you kids do these days because
Fist pump?
okay, cool. Anyways, thank you for your time, Isaac and Chung. Audience, until next time, stay curious and stay connected. Bye, guys. When
Yeah,
your
thank you
episode
so much
airs.
for your time.
You're welcome.
That was
Bye.
really enjoyable. Cheers.
Cheers.